So let's just start with you giving us a sense of the effect of this pandemic and all the disruption on your work and on the food industry in general.
Um, this is a moment in time that been afraid it would happen, and not just for this reason, because of the actual outbreak of the virus, which is horrific. It could have been any number of reasons, and we are not prepared as a city, a state, a country for food emergencies because we're not prepared for regular food service in a way that's proper, fair, equitable, clean, and healthy. And so one of the things that, excuse me, this has exposed is our lack of readiness and our lack of cohesive, taking care of one another cohesively as a group, and really realizing that feeding the people is important. So, not all bad. Some of it's been really good. We've actually seen people step up that have not been in leadership around food, that have not been forced to face these kinds of large-scale incidences. And so we're finding a lot of good people out there, and I'm fortunate enough to share a PR guy with some very good food folks that mobilized us. And David Rudolph is our PR guy. He brought together Chef Max with Chef Genevieve Fang with Bangkok 96, Bartella Cuzzos, and Stephanie and Cynthia Bird at the Block and Floods. And so we've been feeding people. So I think in total, maybe 10 to 15,000, might be more than that. It's been a lot of people being fed for the last 5 weeks. Yeah. And we're going forward from there.
Yeah. The disruption to the food chain
yes.
supply is one of the things that people are starting to talk about. Can you give us just a thumbnail of how that's supposed to work and how the pandemic is disrupting it?
Well, most of our issue is a media issue right now. There's actually enough of a meat supply actually there, but people are panicking, and it's understandable. We haven't experienced this before, but the reality is that we do have enough food, and we are able to feed ourselves and this world several times over if we were to actually modify our food system and make it an effective tool for us. So people are panicking a little bit, but we also got the benefits, especially here in Michigan, being the second most agriculturally diverse state in the United States. We've got a growing season coming. So in all of this, there's the beauty that we can grow our own food, that we can actually take ourselves back to a place where we can take care of ourselves. And so there's some positivity and some joy in that knowledge, but it's taking some time for us to get up and running. So we've got these programs like Feeding the Front Line, where restaurants are being paid to actually prepare meals, and we're doing things, but we've got opportunity here. So it's not a horrific thing, but it needs some help, and we actually need some more people to step up. And I'll speak specifically to the churches, because they're an important part of our food chain, and they're not there right now. Their doors are closed.
I wonder if you can also talk about local restaurants, which are closed. As you said, you guys are trying to feed people, and that's great.
Right.
But your livelihoods depend on table service and things like that. Give us a sense of how disruptive that is.
There's been some great creativity, and people have actually stepped up. Like I mentioned, there is that program, Feeding on the Front Lines, curbside service, some changes in our models, and this all comes at a time where it affects more restaurants somewhat more than the others. We have our brothers and sisters who've been over on the Avenue of Fashion, who have been going through a horrific ordeal with their restaurants already, with the traffic being disrupted the way it has been. They were just reopening. Mm-hmm. And so all of these things are hitting our restaurants scene at a time where it's already hard. And now we've got all of these pressures that are being put upon our system here. But our folks have been responding.
I wonder if you can also talk about African American owned
Yeah.
restaurants and particular vulnerabilities they have here.
Well, our homeless population is suffering. Health is wealth, and obviously our homeless folks do not have resources other than places like NSO, COTS, Alternative for Girls, and these are some of the places that we've been servicing. And the need there is great. Um, the other programs have been taking in money, so we've been able to feed them, but this needs to keep on going. And we have to actually realize that by taking care of the least of us, we're taking care of all of us. And so if we're able to feed our folks, give them a little help, it's a wonderful thing. One of the clients at one of the places we're servicing said that food that they were receiving, that Chef Max and his group down there really breaking their backs to get out, was so good that it actually gave them hope.
Wow.
And we need to do that. We need to connect around the dinner table a little bit more. We need to teach our kids how to grow food. You teach them how to can and preserve and do all these things, because here in the state of Detroit, we have food insecurity in general.
Mm-hmm.
Poverty rates are high here. We a lot of folks of all ages and all races that are dependent on food stamps and SNAP and other things like WIC and things like that that are being challenged every day by our federal government, because those folks don't think that we all deserve a meal. So those are some of the vulnerable folks. We've had our seniors that are shut in. We've been getting calls from senior buildings that they don't have a way to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So some of those folks have been getting some help, but there are a lot of other people out there that need help. The little lady that's at the end of the street, we don't see her except for during the summer months when it's warm, but she's hungry now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my uncle that lives around the other side of town have all the greatest resources. We've got to feed these folks and make it a priority, because if we take and get ourselves outside of ourselves a little bit, we'll find that there's actually beauty in this horrible time.
Uh, do you think that the restaurant scene here in Detroit, which was sort of coming into a new era of sorts before this, we saw particularly, I think, among Black-owned restaurants, kind of a renaissance? How badly does this set us back?
It's gonna make for a stronger food system, but we've got to get away from this narrative that Black folks just started cooking.
Well,
If we're one of the most unhealthy cities in the world, who's burning up these calories? People don't know Joe Louis used to have a fried chicken concept, so we've been restaurant tours forever here. And the freeway policy, finances, all of these things have made for the Black food scene to seem like there's something that's not there, but it's always there.
mm-hmm.
We can't be this fat if we're not being fed. But but right now the biggest thing is that we are actually starting to get some publicity and get some press and get some of the love that's shown to people who aren't from here,
Right.
that haven't been around, that haven't given up a little blood and sweat and any type of equity at all.
Mm-hmm.
You had people with that sandwich concept downtown in the gallery that they blamed Detroiters for not wanting $20 sandwiches at lunch. They came in and said, well, there's no parking, this is a problem. Everyone Black that I know was forced to do a business plan and have a feasibility study of the market.
Right.
Is it
Before you
my
get
fault you didn't read? Yeah, but they get the money and we can't. And that's an issue. So
Yeah.
we've got to deal with our financing. We have to do with our policies. And, even in terms of growing, what does our urban agriculture look like? We have Keep Growing Detroit. They're trying to get 51% of all fruits and vegetables grown by Detroiters in Detroit. It's possible. We have the land. Those are businesses. Those are jobs. That's money that goes to people that you and I both know. And that has to be our goal. We're now seeing that the big food system is failing us horribly. So we need to go local.